from there, what have you seen in the last 10 years? What has worked in terms of economic policy? What kind of control or levers which work and which fail? Because, as the grandmaster, you would say, yes, I want to move this and then pull that back. But things do not react the same. What are the great failures and great wins?
So we had a period of economic reform in Australia through the 80s and 90s and into the 2000s, which was bipartisan in the sense that both the Labor Party and the Liberal Party contributed to that. We finished up with a system which had lower tariffs, where the size of government was brought under control. In fact, at the Institute of Public Affairs, we have a magazine, and I came across an article by the Labor Treasurer Paul Keating in 1993, crowing about the Labor government's delivery of budgets that had reduced the size of government. He was quite proud of that, and he said compared to the Liberals, they'd done a much better job, and he was absolutely correct. We also saw improvements in the industrial relations system, which enabled individuals to contract with each other, companies to employ individuals on contracts. This had a material benefit to WA in particular. There'd been a terrible industrial relations environment in the projects in the Pilbara, and this new industrial relations framework really turned that around. And so that was really the era of reform. And as I say, ever since the GFC, things have been pretty much going backwards. We saw the Rudd-Gillard years where there was an expansion in some of the social programs and a re-regulation of the industrial relations systems through the Fair Work Act, an immediate sort of productivity killer. We saw 3 terms of the coalition government where they were unable to marshal the forces, if you like, intellectually, politically, or through votes in the Senate to achieve lasting reform. They perhaps slowed the growth in the size of government, weren't quite able to deliver deliver surpluses. And so it was, in retrospect, a sort of a holding pattern, if you like. And then under the Albanese government, we've had, I don't think people appreciate what rapid changes that we've had in a range of ways that are completely destructive of productivity. So we are the re-regulation of the industrial relations system, which basically has now made us has made us a very difficult country in which companies can invest in long-term projects. There's a lot of, it's not just the cost, it's the uncertainty, it's the ability to manage being taken away through the unions. The size of government is now at its highest level in 40 years. So the last federal budget, 27% of GDP is now taken up by the federal government. So that's like a pandemic era level of spending. So instead of reverting to the levels that we had seen, the last budget delivered by Jim Chalmers actually maintained that. So there hasn't really been any meaningful economic reforms in the last 20 years that I can point to, which have actually made us better off as a nation. And that's what's driving the productivity crisis, which is driving us into per capita recession.